How's it going, all you Daily Object Show fans? It's FusionAnimations here. Today, I'm bringing you an animation time-lapse from when I was animating Cult of Cobalt. As you know, the season has been wrapped up for a few days now, and I just wanted to show you all some of the hard work that went behind it. This season really took a lot of effort to do, and I'm so grateful that a lot of you enjoyed it as much as you did. Now, as a bonus for this time-lapse, I've actually decided to answer some questions that you all had about the season. Our first question is by Malik Miles. Fusion, is there going to be 5 seasons of the Daily Object Show? I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but for the story I've planned so far with the Daily Object Show, it'll take 6 seasons to complete. Season 6 probably won't be the last season, but it will be the end of this current story that I'm telling. There's always more stories to tell after though. Next question by Felipe Souza. If there are any more seasons, are you planning to have a different story each season? With only the first season being an actual competition show? There will be story-driven seasons from time to time, but for the most part, I'll be sticking with the competition style. I just wanted to try something different with Cult of Cobalt. And if I'm being honest, this was so much harder to do than a regular competition show. So it's definitely something I can only do every once in a while. Dostali Voltaire asks, will Cobalt ever come back? And if so, how will he? If you check out the very end of the full season video I uploaded yesterday, you'll see a little teaser for what's to come regarding Cobalt Blue. Whatever happened to the super objects, excluding Cobalt Blue, asks Better Animations. The super objects were such a big concept that was really only explored in episode 1. I didn't come up with a whole lot of information on them, aside from that they were the first ever objects to exist in the Daily Object Show world. They were the ones who created the first living objects. They're pretty much this world's version of gods in a way, or higher beings. And as with most higher beings, they aren't even around anymore. I don't have a story yet for how they disappeared, but what I do know is that when they left, they gave objects their own power to create life, which I'll explain some other time, but that's the gist of it. Contest for Colonization asks, what advice do you have for object shows that are just starting out? If you're just starting out, my biggest advice would be to keep the show small. One way to do this would be to keep your contestant number small. I know you might have all these ideas for characters, but the more contestants there are in a show, the longer the show will be. And for our first time, it's good to keep it small so you can get an idea of what it's like. There are countless shows in this community that never get finished, and I feel like that's a big reason why. My personal suggestion for any new showrunners would be to keep it between 5 to 10 contestants. That way it's easier for you to complete the entire show and get a bigger idea for what you want to do in the community. Flaky Crust asks, are you going to release the files for Cult of Cobalt? Yes, I'll be uploading the Cult of Cobalt files tomorrow actually, so be on the lookout for that. Ultimate Animations asks, how many seasons will there be? And also, this isn't a Cult of Cobalt question, but will you be making another Fusion's Basics and Animations? It really helped me and I can't find it. I already answered the first question, but for Fusion's Basics and Animation, that series has been unlisted and put in a playlist on my channel. You can find it there. I do want to make another tutorial series sometime, because I personally don't like Fusion's Basics and Animation, but you know, we'll see what happens. Two-Tailed Pikachu asks, did you intend for the Daily Object Show to have this kind of story? Or was it intended to be something to do for fun and it just kind of evolved? I've always had the idea for more story for the Daily Object Show. For Cult of Cobalt though, it was written afterwards and it slowly evolved to fit more in with the original story. And the final question is by Daniel Rapitis. How did you think of the concept of the Daily Object Show? I came up with the Daily Object Show when I was sitting in my pool one day and I said to myself, what if I made an object show that was daily? And then a few hours later, the first episode was done, and I released it the next morning. It's really more of me wanting to try something new. And I mean, look where we are now. It paid off big time, and that's what I want people to take away from it. If you have an idea, do it. Thank you for all the questions, and enjoy the rest of the time lapse.
Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs, too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. Oh no.